We start with national overnight news. 2 men and a woman dead after a shooting at a Marine base in Virginia.
Authorities at Quantico say all 3 are Marines. They say the shooter killed one of his comrades late last night before barricading himself in the barracks. When authorities moved in, they say the suspect was already dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. A second victim was found just a few feet away. Investigators believe the suspect was a staff member at the base. We will keep you updated as this story develops. And happening this morning, we're all shell-shocked and brokenhearted over the Lobos' loss yesterday.
Yes, the Harvard Crimson won their very first game ever in the NCAA tournament, beating the Lobos in their silver uniforms. You know, they had been a good luck charm for the guys this year. They won 17 straight games in the silver uniforms. However, unfortunately, it was just not enough last night. Sports Director Van Tate is in Salt Lake City and has more.
No team wants to be the victim of an upset, but that is exactly what happened to the 10th-ranked Lobos in a shocking loss to Harvard in the NCAA tournament. Disappointment grips the Lobos locker room after the game.
We've had an amazing season, an amazing run, and it's just for it to end this way, it's really disappointing.
I mean, it happens. It's basketball. It's March, like everyone said. Anything can happen, and we just didn't come out there with what we could, what the potential that we had.
From start to finish, the Lobos could never get any kind of rhythm against the Crimson. Once again, poor shooting reared its ugly head. This time, there would be no recovery as the Crimson would do the opposite, shooting 52% for the game compared to 37.5% for the Lobos.
You know, I don't know if we made 2 shots in a row all night as far as jump shots, so we could never get in rhythm. We could never get on a roll to give our defense a chance to, you know, really anchor in and do some stops and get on a run. We just never were able to do that.
The 68-62 loss to Harvard is the result of a lot of things, depending on which player you talk to.
I don't know. I think some people on the team were fatigued and they needed a rest, and that when you get tired, sometimes you don't react the way you're supposed to.
They did a good job of controlling that pace and not letting us make that run, and you know, we were waiting for it and it just didn't happen.
Obviously, it's always been our thing all year to come out and hit them first and really get them down, but they were the ones that came out.
Seniors Jamal Fenton and Chad Adams are now finished with their careers in cherry and silver. The 2 winningest Lobos in program history did not want it to end this way.
Devastated, man. I really didn't expect to be playing my last collegiate game today, so I really don't know what to think right now.
And I feel like we let a lot of people down. We let our state down because we didn't execute Coach Opper's plan, and I just feel terrible.
Now the Lobos are left to wonder what could have been as they end their season with 29 wins and 6 losses. Van Tate, KRQE News 13 Sports, Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right, let's look at the bright side, though. One silver lining here is that toward the future, things look very good for the Lobos. All 5 starters should be back for the guys next year. And as you can imagine, this loss comes a real big shock for fans here in New Mexico and the thousands who traveled north to Salt Lake to cheer the team on.
We looked slow. It looked like slow and lackadaisical out there for most of the game.
I just thought the Lobos came out a little intimidated. They came out slow and they looked like they were the nervous team. I don't know.
This is a different environment. Even as a fan, sitting up way so high, it was hard to feel connected with the guys, and it just wasn't their night. But I'm still really proud of them.
And it is not a good morning for the New Mexico State Aggie fans either. The Aggies lost to St. Louis. NMSU took on St. Louis, a top 25 team. You know, some loyal Aggie fans gathered at Vernon's Hidden Steakhouse yesterday to show their support for their favorite team. The Aggies never did get ahead, but they did keep it close through most of the game. St. Louis ended up winning 64-44. The Aggies finished the season with a WAC conference win and a 24-10 record. In other news this morning, furloughs for Kirtland Air Force Base civilian employees have been delayed a couple of weeks. About 2,100 people were supposed to get notices that they were facing unpaid time off because of federal budget cuts. But the Department of Defense has now pushed that back to look at the impact of a budget bill that is pending in Congress.
Happening right now, it has been nearly 100 days since that horrific school shooting at Sandy Hook. Now the parents of a little girl who used to go to school in Rio Rancho here in New Mexico are opening up on CBS. Emily Parker's family and her parents met the father of the young man who killed their daughter back in December. Adam Lanza shot and killed a total of 20 first graders and 6 adults at this elementary school in Connecticut, including little Emily there. The Parkers told CBS this morning that they met with Peter Lanza to try to get some closure.
The best way to put it was I wanted to tell him that there was a lot of hope and opportunity to gain from this, that he held the keys to, because there was information and things to be learned from what happened, and without his cooperation, it would go nowhere.
So sad. Grab a Kleenex, see the rest of what the Parkers have to say starting this morning right here on CBS This Morning. Well, the man police called the McKinley Middle School rapist accused of terrorizing teenage girls and young women in Albuquerque during the 80s and 90s is now getting hit with new charges. Investigators say they've connected Joseph Blea to 3 more attacks through DNA. He's now charged with a total of 5 rapes, 3 13-year-old girls and 2 young women. In each case, the rapist broke into houses while the women were alone. All lived near McKinley Middle School on Comanche near San Mateo. Police know there were other rapes in the area at that time. They would like those women to come forward now.
Sandia National Labs is accused of breaking the rules. The Department of Energy got an anonymous complaint. An investigation revealed that the lab broke its own rules by rehiring retired workers as consultants at higher rates. Sandia is working on reversing its policies. The ACLU is suing the Bernalillo County clerk on behalf of 2 lesbian couples. Miriam Rand and Ona Porter of Albuquerque, as well as Rose Griego and Kim Kyle of Santa Fe, say they were refused marriage licenses. They agree with Santa Fe officials that same-sex marriage is legal in New Mexico because the state constitution does not specify that marriage is actually between a man and a woman. Well, county clerks say that their hands are tied because of that opinion that was issued by the Attorney General back in 2004 that said New Mexico law does not allow same-sex marriage. The state Supreme Court may end up deciding this issue.